George, this is going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest fight ever on Australian soil. How does that feel to be bringing the sport of boxing to such new heights in your home country?
Yeah, look, it's very exciting, to do what to achieve what I've done in boxing already, and then to bring the biggest fight in Australian history back to Australia. It's amazing because we get to showcase now what we have, what we're about, the quality that we have, the stadiums that we have. That's what it's all about. We've been put down as a country in the fight game, but this is not already, it's changed, but it's going to keep showcasing more. So very excited, huge fight, biggest fight in Australian history, every single belt on the line, and just can't wait, so focused and hungry.
Life's changed a lot for you in the last so many months since you've got all the biggest fighters in the world. They're all calling you out, they're coming at you left and right. The money, the lifestyle changes, the notoriety, it's all been so sudden. How have you dealt with that and how has that sort of felt?
Look, the most important thing, obviously life has been a lot busier, but the most important thing is I stay focused in the gym. It's where I love to be. Regardless of everything, the belts, the money, the fame and status and all that stuff that comes with where I'm at today. My love has been in the gym, been in the trenches, and that's where I remain 2-3 times a day. So I've always had a good name here in Australia, big social media presence, and it's always been pretty crazy with a lot of things, but I've always put in the work, the trenches. So they're going to hunt me down, they're going to try take what I got, but when you got a hungry lion that's got it, that achieved after 10 years, good luck trying to get it, because it ain't going to happen.
You went through a lot personally during your last camp in the lead up to the Teo fight, and that was pretty well publicised. You spent a lot of time away from your family while a lot of things were going on.
Yeah.
How does it feel knowing that you're going to be able to be so close to them in the lead up to this camp? Is that a big positive thing for you?
Yeah, it really is. I went through so much adversity, in that last fight, the postponements, Lopez getting COVID, the passing of my grandfather, the birth of my third child. So I went through a lot, heaps of adversity, but I never was broken. I always stayed focused, and knowing now that I achieved, to win these belts and bring them back home, now I get to do it my way, and I've always said I'll do it my way. We never really got handed anything in our life, in our boxing career. We always had to do it the hard way, and that's what we always wanted. Really, me and my father, as a small team, obviously my kids, my wife, we all set out on this dream. And the plan was always to win them, bring them back, fight in a mega stadium fight, and then being able to have a whole team here, do it our way. So it's very exciting that we can do this now, and it motivates me even more.
We're about to head across to that mega stadium. We're about to go across to Marble. Can you tell us a bit about what you're doing here in Melbourne and what announcements we're going to be making later on today?
Obviously, huge announcement coming. The biggest fight in Australian history, and what a stadium, Marble Stadium. We're here to break records. We're here to give back to Australian boxing. And I could have fought anybody. I could have taken an easy fight, still would have sold out the place, but I know that the fans would have left with that sour taste in their mouth like they have many times before in Australian boxing when they've been to an event. So that's why I chased the best guys, chased the biggest names, and obviously Devin Haney was one of the biggest names. Lomachenko was the other big name, and finally came down to it where Devin Haney accepted the deal. Obviously my deal was perfect, and we got a fight, but a hell of a fight. I can't wait to take his belt as well.
People on Lomachenko, he was, for people that don't know, I don't know how many don't know, but he was the original matchup for you, and that's the fight that was looking like it was going to go ahead. And then of course with his situation in the Ukraine is very unfortunate. Were you more excited about getting in there with Lomachenko than Haney?
No, both were always the aim. I always said that it's going to be Devin Haney or Lomachenko. Business is business, nothing's personal. No one was favoured more than the other. I would have fought them both on the same night if I could, but Lomachenko deal just made more sense through the ESPN deal, through the DeBella deal, through the demands. Obviously I had to work extremely hard for 10 years doing it the hard way, traveling back and forth all over the world, small money for no money, for money that I lost, you know, to get to the top of the sport. So I beat the best guy in the division. I took his belts in his hometown, so I deserve to have my demands, and obviously deserve to, you know, have it my way. I've earned that. But again, the way that these guys, you know, their deal was extremely unbelievable. You know, they're fighting for all the belts. So look, business is business, and the Lomachenko fight at that stage just worked out better. But the thing that happened was Devin Haney shot himself in the foot because he thought he was in the clear. He thought he was sweet. So he went out on Twitter and said he'll take the same deal as Lomachenko, same purse, same everything, thinking that the fight was already done. Now obviously Lomachenko's got a bigger fight at the moment. I respect that a lot. I hope he stays safe, his family stays safe. But that's when Devin Haney comes back into play. Now when you say something and the world sees it, you got to be a man of your word. Like I was a man of my word straight after the Lopez fight. I said the best guy, the biggest name will get the fight. And obviously, you know, it came down to it where he finally accepted the same deal as Lomachenko. Hell of a deal. He complains about he's getting less, he's getting this and that. He's still gonna make millions and millions of dollars for his first proper international trip. We know he's made 18 trips to Mexico to fight cab drivers, you know, early in his career, which he could afford them all on the same night. But you got to think back, my first trip going overseas, my first 3-4 trips going overseas, I lost money. I had to take my whole family with me, just so to make sure they were with me by my side. I had to live in shitty motels. You know, I had to live in places that were so dangerous, and this is far from where, you know, I am now to where I was before. You know, so he complains, but he's getting life-changing money as well. He's getting opportunity. He's not going to come here and we're going to put him in a caravan park. He's going to be in a beautiful suite. So, you know, less complaining, just be here, and then we can talk in the ring.
Devin Haney is a very different fighter than Teofimo Lopez. A lot of people watching that fight, which is one of the best fights of this modern boxing generation, I think, and I think a lot of people would agree. I think that Teo's aggression brought out the best in you, and we saw you elevate levels and levels throughout that fight as the fight went on. But Devin Haney is far more defensive. He's a very, very different style to Teofimo Lopez. Do you think that inhibits you in any way? Do you think that that's a disadvantage? Do you have to change your style, or does he play more into your hands than Teo does?
No, I think he plays more into my hands. You know, we've seen it in his last 3 fights, especially in the Linares fight and the Jojo Diaz fight. He thinks he's a defensive fighter, but he gets caught. He gets caught a lot. There are a lot of holes there, so this is going to play right into my game. The pressure, the output that I have, the speed, the power, the explosiveness I have. I've just become an even better fighter. I'm really in my prime right now. I don't feel like I was in my prime in the Lopez fight. I feel like I've really come into my prime now. You know, people ask me, when does camp start? When does it officially start? Straight after the Lopez fight, I went back into it. I went into putting in more work. And that's what it's about, to be continue your legacy. You need to put in the work. So, no, I believe he will run. He'll run for his life when he feels the power. And when it comes to his defensive skills, I don't think they're that great. In his mind, he might think they're great, but we've seen it. He's been hurt before. He's been wobbled. He's been rocked. And these guys are that are way out of their prime, or featherweights. So when a natural lightweight in his prime hits him clean and hits him multiple times, that's what I'm excited to see how he reacts.
Devin was kind of in the same position he is now, as far as standing within the 135 division when you fought Teo and turned that division up on its head.
Yeah.
But Teo was the top dog at that time. He was the biggest dog in the yard. Do you see Devin Haney as much of a threat as you did Teo?
Look, every fighter is a threat, and you got to respect them all. But I just see the holes. I see more holes in Devin Haney than what I did with the Lopez fight. I knew the Lopez fight with his style and the size and the punching power he has, you know, and that kind of tricky style he has as well. where he can put you out any time. I saw more danger in that fight. Really, I saw more danger in the Lomachenko fight. But again, Haney is a good fighter. He's got his style, but we see the holes. We've seen the holes for a long time. And I've been looking at these guys for many years. I've got notes on all these guys as I was a rising contender. So we know what we have to do in this fight. We're very excited, we can't wait, and looking forward to it.